Hello out there, YouTube. Sometimes when you're on the internet looking at stuff and you realize that there was something you really should have shared a long time ago but never got around to it? Well, a long time ago, I repainted my Strongarm figure from Transformers Prime, not Transformers Prime, Transformers RID, and aside from a picture where I took of her arresting Thunderblast for indecent transformation, I haven't actually shared it with you guys. Last night I saw the new Evangelist review. He did the Takara version of Strongarm, which had a slightly more show-accurate repaint job, so I figured I would show mine off. I guess here I'll put in a picture of the Takara figure. Okay, now that you've seen what the Takara figure's car mode looks like, it's a little closer to the show model than the paint job from the American release, but it's still not all that accurate. I think the only place it really got good was on the side, where it put the extra stripe on the door panel, where I couldn't paint that stripe. And they painted the grille, but they didn't put any of these detailings on the bumper. And yes, this is the one flaw of mine. I couldn't match the blue for her with that, so it's kind of an obvious thing in this mode. But it looks a lot better on the back, because that does look like the slightly darker blue. Like the whole back bumper, yep, I painted that in, and this is still missing even on the Takara release. I guess even in Japan, it's still just the budget kid toy line version, not the collector grade Generations figures. I also picked out all those teal spots on her shins, which is in this mode the back of the cab. And yeah, this is also painted, this black part here. And the entire rear window, the rear windshield is also painted. So yeah, a lot of paint taps in car mode. And nope, none of these paint taps really get in the way of the transformation. Speaking of which, let's transition her to robot mode. Okay, so here is her robot mode. For a quick comparison, let's take a picture of the Takara figure. Okay, so the Takara figure, I mean, they did a little bit, but they really didn't do much. Basically, the only thing the Takara figure has that makes her look more accurate is the striping on her chest and the white parts of her helmet. Aside from that, they really didn't do a lot. Again, I'm guessing because it's still just the cartoon license figure and not one of the Generations figures that adult collectors are more likely to glom at. So yeah, like, they didn't even paint her hands. I made sure to pick my hands out in black. Unfortunately, I couldn't do as clean a job on the chest plate as they did. That's really the only notable weakness. You can see it kind of looks a little bit mushy. And aside from the white stripe going down the middle, I couldn't really do much painting on the helmet because it's such a small space and I just didn't have a fine enough brush. I did pick out the chin strap look of her helmet with a different color. And as you can see, my Strongarm is wearing lipstick, just like she does in the show. Yeah, but besides that, like, there's so many other paint apps that the Takara version didn't even bother to do. Like this entire thing on her pelvis that picks out the different color here, and the detailings on the belt, they didn't bother. The insides of her thighs being white, they didn't bother with that. The kneecaps being black in the middle and white in the edge, didn't bother with that. Again, the lights on her shins, they didn't bother with that either. And they didn't even bother to pick out the black parts of her shoes. I mean, really, this would not have been a lot of trouble. And it makes her feet look less like just these white shapes. Again, you can see the bumpers at the bottom of the car. It's unfortunate that a lot of the car mode details ends up just pointing down. But, yeah, like, there's so many details that the Takara version didn't bother to do. And so many people are always praising Takara for for doing so much with the paint tabs that Hasbro never does because Hasbro's crappy and lame. Like, yeah, like again, the only thing I'm missing is like that stripe that goes in the door panel, but compared to all the paint tabs they're missing on the rest of the body, that's a minor detail. And besides, I can't really paint very straight lines anyway. So that's just that's my strong arm. I just wanted to share that with you all. Oh, there's one more thing. In my Cosmos review, I did Cosmos, and I noticed that on the back of the box, he's transformed differently. His shoulders are completely different. I wanted to see if that changes anything about him. Because this is the proper transformation. It's accurate to his show model, and it's accurate to how the instructions tell you to do it. But let's see. If you move the arm down like that, and then out like that, then you recreate the look that's on the back of the box instead. Does this transformation work? It's still the arms can do most of what they could do before. I mean, you still have full range this way. Because of this transformation joint, you still have an outward movement. The elbow's ball jointed, so it doesn't really care which direction it's facing. So I guess in this mode his shoulders still work just fine. It's just that, that's not the shoulder pattern that Cosmos is supposed to have. And besides, you can't see his faction symbol that way. It's on the yellow part of his shoulder. Like, yeah. I don't know. Whether it's Takara's repaint job, whether it's a Takara paint job really not being too much more show accurate than the Hasbro paint job, or the people who set up the test shots for the box art just don't know how to make the figure transform right. Anyway, this has been Wakeangel2K1. I hope you like my little strong arm repaint, and we'll see you on my next video.